All right. Well, welcome back. Uh, very brief recap. Last time we played 6 days ago, um, you all had completed the uh, mission or quest that you were given by warning the dwarves of the dwarven excavation site of the impending dragon, or the dragon in the area, rather, right? On your way out, you were greeted isn't the right word, but you understand my meaning. Uh, Introduced, I guess, to three orcs that were escorting a dwarf that you recognized as the hell was his name? Norbus. Um, Norbus saw you and tried to speak, but one of the orcs silenced him quite violently. So here you are, with the orcs ready to charge towards you. So let's go ahead and start this session by rolling initiative. Give me 1 second to get that on the board. There we
You
go.
got it.
No, Thorn, stop rolling so well. You don't have any ranged anything.
Let's go save that Norbussy.
No, fuck him.
Oh my god.
It's gonna be that kind of night for John.
Yeah, it's been a weird day. It's been a very weird day.
I couldn't tell. uh, do either of you know how I would roll a dice, add a number, and apply that number to the turn order there?
For these particular orcs.
Yes.
So if you
Or
have a monster sheet for them, you
I don't.
can roll the okay, so you could in Beyond look up an orc and roll initiative on their sheet for them. If you want to roll it manually, you can roll it from the dice roller inside of roll 20. Should be on the left hand side tools menu. You can pick dice and you can click on advanced roller at the bottom, and it'll let you do like D blah 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 plus whatever you want. If you have the token highlighted when you roll it, it should roll to that token, but because it's not an initiative roll, it probably won't put it in the turn tracker, but at least it'll roll it for you. Of course. Of course that would happen.
You're fine. You already have a 16.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just, I was just rolling to make sure that I
I
didn't
know.
tell incorrectly anything tonight, and of course it would give me a crit as the roll.
Yeah.
You can also get fancy tonight if you want with the text chat in Roll20, and you can just do /roll space, like 1d20 plus 3, and it'll roll it. It understands what you want.
All right. Give me a second while I write down a note so to actually sit down and figure that out next time, please.
Okay.
All right, I do apologize for that. Let's get right into it. These orcs make it very clear. If you remember their verbiage last time, they were approaching, they smacked Norbus and said, looks like we got more prisoners, boys. Let's get in there. And Thorn, you are up.
Thorn runs the opposite direction. And it's just gonna hang out back here. Bad green people. Actually, I'm gonna dip in here and try to hide behind this wall. That's my turn.
Gosh darn
40. Wow.
it. That was not supposed to happen. I don't know why that did that.
I want a 40 initiative roll.
So, the first orc, the one that spoke, he's obviously orcish looking. However, he seems to be a little bit more armored than the other two. He has maybe more brandishing upon himself. He's definitely the would be leader of this pack of orcs. And he charges the door, though you can't really see too well what's actually happening. Thorn, you're blocked off inside of your crumbling hut, and Lionel and Reginald, you are otherwise out of view. But you definitely hear him coming. His footsteps kind of thunder. But being that he can't make it anywhere, he will stop there. That leads us to Reginald.
Give me a second here. My server is just spun up really loudly, and I'm not sure if Bear just fucked with something because I heard him knock a box over. I wasn't sure if he was running away or if it was like it startled him. Okay, well, it reboot. I don't know what happened that made it reboot, but I feel like I know my culprit is on the floor right here. So, anyways. Okay, so I have an orc that is through the door. Am I able to see him line of sight through the door, or is he kind of obscured from me being able to shoot at him?
Because of the way the door that is on hinges is angled right now, you'd have to move if you wanted to get a look at him.
Okay. All right. And if that is the case, then I will move forward a bit. Seeing that there are now that many outside, and be like, oh my. Well, that's not good. And then Reginald will use let's use Witch Bolt on this guy right here.
Fancy.
Witch. All right, so cast Witch Bolt. All right, so it's a 13 to hit, which may or may not happen.
I'm sorry, bud. I need you. How does Reginald feel about orcs?
I mean, I guess he's okay with them.
Has Reginald ever fought orcs before? Or has Reginald only ever read about them?
he's only read about them.
I would like Reginald to please roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Awesome. So, Reginald, I'm sorry to do this to you. You move forward and catch sight of all three orcs, and you've read about orcs before. Um, and you go to cast your witch bolt, already thinking about what you're going to do as you're moving, because you know there's danger. But as you feel that lightning come down your fingers and you make eye contact with this orc that's about 20 feet away from you, and it sees you, and you see, is that dried blood on its face? You're not sure. But it kind of sets off the hairs on the back of your neck, and I'd like you to please re-roll your cast for me.
Okay.
Just the attack.
Just the attack part.
Yes. So,
11.
a little bit of a spark of fear, because you've never done this before, uh, sort of hitches you, and your hand kind of twitches, and your bolt goes wide.
I swear that never happens. And he's gonna run back a little bit because now he's a little apprehensive about being in this battle.
You do feel a little bit afraid. You're not sure why. But does that end your turn?
It does.
Awesome. One of us shooting lightning, boys. Sorry to pick on you, John, but what happens is you hear another set of thundering footsteps as another orc charges the door. Oh, and you know what? Yeah, we can do that. Where he gets to the door and he peers just inside of it, and he happens to just catch a glimpse of you, and he launches a javelin at you, which strikes and grazes your shoulder for 4 points of damage. And continues to sail through the air, pinning itself in the far wall behind you. Lionel, one of your friends has just taken damage.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Okay, I'm going to move 5 feet here so I can actually see into the door, see that there are three. Be like, oh, well, this is a problem. And I'll hold on to that for now. And I am going to cast Frostbite, and I am going to try and get it so that it concentrates mostly on his hands. So that the next time he uses a weapon attack, he kind of fucks himself up. So can you give me a Constitution saving throw, please? DC is 13 on the one that's right in front.
He passes.
Okay, well, he doesn't take any damage, and I am just like, well, fuck. With that, I am then going to use more of my movement to then 5, 10 to move in here so that hopefully if they run in, I will be able to surprise one of them.
Very well. Is that your turn?
That is my turn.
Walk number 2. Orc number 2. Let's see. Reginald, you actually see this particular orc look down to his left and place a hand on Norbus's shoulder before leaning in and whispering something to him. And you just see Norbus go pale, and the orc laughs, but does not move. Which brings us to Thorn.
Thorn. I don't actually know if I can do this, but Thorn wants to ready an action. Can I ready an action and a movement? Like, if something comes within 10 feet of me, can I hit it? Like, I don't know if that's a ruling, because I don't think I can take movement if it's not my turn, technically.
So the way I understand ready action worked is you just save your turn, so to speak, to sort of pseudo insert it into wherever you want on the turn order, right? So you're like either you're moving yourself inside the turn order. But I don't know. More experienced DM's input, please.
Generally, it is because technically, a readied action is a reaction that you take to ready an action for when a specific trigger occurs.
Right.
And then when that trigger occurs, then whatever action you ready to effect. It can be a bunch of different things.
Right, but from my understanding of it, I don't think a combination of actions is allowed. You could basically ready an action to do a move action. You could ready an action to do an attack action. You could ready an action to do a dash, a disengage. But I don't believe you can ready multiple actions to trigger, or a movement action and a normal action.
Yeah, that's my understanding of it too. I think it's a little weird sometimes because I know people want to do that all the time where they ready an action to move and attack something when it gets within a certain range.
That's fine. It's fine. I want to hold my action or ready my action so that if anything passes by this door, either this square or this square, I will attack it.
Okay. That brings us back to orc number 1. Who shall charge forth? 10, 15. So he gets to this particular and triggers your hold action.
Then Thorn is going to use Booming Blade. Excuse me. And I'm going to stab this thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
And he is now sheathed in Booming Blade energy. And he will take 1d8 damage if he moves on his next turn.
What if he moves in the same turn?
Spells. If the target willingly moves 5 feet or more before then, which is the start of my next turn, then target takes 1d8 thunder damage. So,
Yeah.
How does that work? Does somebody under the effect of Booming Blade know they're under the effect of Booming Blade?
Generally, the way that a lot of people rule it, because it's a spell effect, if the creature is intelligent enough to understand what spells are and to be hit by it, you have a couple of different options. You can either automatically have them understand that, hey, if I move, this spell is going to do something to me, or you can have them do like an intelligence check to see if they can like identify what the spell was.
right, because even if they know that it's magic, they don't necessarily know what kind of magic it is.
Right. It really depends on the DM and how they want to rule intelligence of characters. If you're fighting a really smart opponent, then you don't need to make them make a check because they're going to know immediately. I was hit by a spell. It's likely going to do something if I try and move away from here.
Well, having been attacked by you, and you being within 5 feet, he's going to return the favor.
Ah! Help Thorn!
Ruh-roh.
Thorn has 12 HP.
So,
I have 4.
No.
brandishing his great axe, he goes to swing at you hard, but the cover that you're in really catches his axe and it glances sideways and lodges into the door frame, or what would have been left of one. But he doesn't seem to care, having taken your blow. He just leans over his stuck axe and goes, "Tiny."
I growl back at him.
Reginald, you are up.
All right, so yeah, Reginald, I think, is going to attempt to throw another one of his signature firebolts while retreating kind of maneuvers. Seem to work really well with the jellies, by the way. So he's gonna give that a shot on the guy right here with his axe stuck in the structure. So let's go ahead and try that.
Yeah, do it. Do it.
All right, bud, how do you want to do this?
So he's going to kind of be running away around the corner like this to get away from the orc, but kind of frantically throwing the firebolt like that over his shoulder backwards as he's running away. And I guess it just kind of majestically happens to clock this orc in such a manner that it really catches him off guard and hits him for a lot of damage.
I love this, like, accidentally awesome Hot Boy Scholar.
You've managed to hit this thing in the back of the head, and it's sort of like with its axe lodged into the door frame and leaning over, leering at this cobalt lizard folk, grinning. Suddenly, its head just jerks forward, and it does a sort of somersault over the hand of its axe, and just is dead on the ground with a crater where the back of its head should have been.
Nice.
Thorn does a little war cry.
All Thorn.
Does that complete your turn?
That completes Reginald's turn. Yes.
This orc right here just watched that happen and is utterly baffled. Durzok! Durzok! You weren't holding an action, were you, Lionel?
No, I had used mine to cast Frostbite. So he is good to do whatever the fuck he wants.
I love that their initiative doubled again.
It did. What the fuck?
Yeah, it does. It does weird things when you add them in via some kind of math with dice rolls, and then have edited it manually. It does this weird doubling thing.
It tripled it.
It might. It could also be if you set it to be like round order or something when you were first creating it, because I know it will like keep track, and that I think is by the count that it does.
Or if you copied the orc token instead of making multiple instances when you put it in, it's basically like you have three references that are the same base data, and if you gave one a number and then added another one to another one, they're gonna like make it additive every time.
That's so
Things
dumb. Why is that a thing?
You just got to drag multiple instances of the tokens in instead of copy paste. Unfortunately, it's dumb shit.
Reginald, what's your AC?
Not good. That's what I can tell you.
Reginald!
Fuck you. This thing has a +5 to fucking hit and still misses. This thing is actually
Wow.
probably experiencing the same thing that you just went through on your turn previous. You're just this tiny little elf, and I am this great orc, and you killed my best friend.
And I'll do it again too.
This orc charges you with its great axe raised that it rips off its back, having already thrown its javelin, and takes a mighty swing that goes clear over your head. You, being the intelligent man that you are, watch this in slow motion as it just, you don't even have to move. It just right over your head, and you're like, oh wow, that's cool. And then the stink hits you of its breath and BO, and you're like, oh, that's not cool.
Definitely not.
Angie orc. Lionel.
Okay, I am going to move out from my spot, because seeing that one run past me and knowing that Reginald is there, and I will move to be right behind him. Question: are we going with flanking rules or no?
Yes. I love
Okay.
flanking.
Okay, so I am in position to flank him. So I will going to attack him with my hammer. You see Lionel draw this light hammer that definitely has had some wear and tear on it, and you could swear is probably more for smithing than actually bashing people's skulls in, but seems what he's going for.
It's universal.
Mm-hmm. 18 to hit.
Smashing metal or smashing people, same thing. Just
Mhm.
softer.
So your blow connects.
He takes 3 points of bludgeoning damage, and when I hit him, I want to give him enough force to spin around to look at me, and when he does, I am going to use my bonus action to activate my shift ability. And what Reginald and this orc will see is that Lionel's frame gets a little bit musclier. Not so much that he actually gains strength, but it's more defined. His nose and his jaw extend and form into one thing and become very canid in nature, but not as much as like a wolf or a fox, but almost the halfway mark between a canid and like a lion. His ears slightly get pointier and turn slightly ovoid, and he starts to grow hair on his face, and he gets like this huge mane that goes from like the top of his head and just goes right down his back, and in the middle of it is marked by a big stripe. And he just looks at the orc and says, as he's transforming, "I will not be taken prisoner by my fate again." No, not Skunk Boy. Reginald probably is able to identify that this looks more like a hyena than anything else.
Can you can you roll me an intimidation check?
I certainly can. I don't have the tail. If I was Skunk Boy, I would have definitely given him the tail. 6.
Well, you won either way because I rolled a nat one. So this guy was already pretty defeated, having lost one of his friends, and seeing, in his opinion, the face of death form in front of him. Like his arms kind of just drop to his side, and I'd say he looks up at you, but you guys are still technically the same height. But for you know, for aesthetic reasons, he looks up at you and is just like, "We're all gonna want this."
And I think he sees that Lionel gets a very manic grin to show off that his canines and all of his teeth have grown in size to match his new jaw as well.
Joy. Well, is that your turn? Or
That is definitely my turn.
whatever. What is a hyena? I don't know what that is. Lycanthrope hyena.
I think for simplicity's sake, you just call it a lycanthrope hyena. Because hyenas aren't
It's like a,
technically dogs.
it's correct terminology is like Theranthrope, if I remember correctly, for mammalian.
Well, um, unaware of your transformation, but sensing that something has gone wrong. Orc number 2. Uh, Orc number 2 sallies forth. All right. Sorry, y'all.
Oh, good.
It's fine.
He's upset because he doesn't want to go brush his teeth and go to bed.
Well,
Uh,
it is Thorn's turn, so Oh, I guess we both gotta go.
Yeah.
It's all
We're gonna
good.
go put him down
take a
really
break.
quick.
Fine. Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead. One of my finest masterpieces, condensing that to Weena.
I did see that. I thought it was funny.
Yes, I'm quite amused by myself.
It was funny when I was first talking to Knight about this in regards to what Theranthrope was going to be Lionel's ancestor. And I was thinking, and it's like, well, they have bear, lion, tiger, wolf, dog, and he's like, you're gonna go with lion, aren't you, because of the name? And I'm thinking, no, I wanted to do something different. And I was looking at a couple of things, and it's like, you know what? I'm gonna go for hyena. Fuck this. And then
That's
after
pretty
that, he
unique.
asked me, he's like, wait a minute, does that mean you have a clit that's as big as a pseudo penis? I'm like, no.
Asking the important questions.
It's like, no, it's the females. He's male.
Asking the important questions.
Uh, Thus, as soon as you got to Weena, I was very heavily amused, considering the conversation I had in regards to this. So much fun when I get to third level with this. I'll be right back while they are taking care
Yep.
of the child.
No problemo.
Alright. We back.
Okay. Koval, I think, is up and about. He's using the
Open.
potty.
That punk.
Yep. Sorry, I made a shortened edition of what to describe him as being. I went from were hyena to Weena, so I'm just gonna call him Weena now.
I'm about it.
Well, I guess we don't need him here for me to do my turn.
This is that's fair, very true.
Thorn is going to Thorn's going to round this corner and use all 30 feet of her movement to get here.
Hell yeah.
She is running as quickly as she can go. And I want to just smack into this orc and try to shove him.
Roll with advantage. A strength check.
I'm bad at those.
Technically, you should have disadvantage, Because you're smaller?
I can be big if he has.
You're small.
Yeah, he's a medium creature. Or is he large?
He's medium.
Yeah. So, look, mine still works. I wouldn't have advantage. I looked at shove before.
No, you should have disadvantage. He should have advantage.
That's what I'm saying. The target must be no more than one size larger than you and must be within your reach. It doesn't say anything about advantage, just advantage for that.
Yeah.
You win by 1 point.
No fucking way. Are you serious?
I rolled a 3 and he gets a +3.
Okay, then I shove him 5 feet away from Reginald.
That way?
Yeah, that's fine.
Do way towards the Weena.
So I think that the way that Thorn does this is that she literally just comes like hauling ass around that corner, and she takes her shield and kind of uses it as like a helmet, and just like headbutts the fuck out of this orc with her little walk, and just like gets him just enough off balance to shove him 5 feet.
To be honest, getting this orc off of balance wasn't difficult at all. Staring up into, once again, what it thinks is the face of death. It sort of rolls with it. It kind of just takes it, and I mean, there's surprise written across its face, but it is nowhere near in a state to absorb the shock and deal with it. Is that your turn?
That is my turn.
Work 1, you're dead.
Blech.
How do I delete you? No, not that one. God
Hit
damn it.
You should
No,
be
hit
able to
undo.
Control Z, I think.
Yeah.
Should bring it back.
Hey.
Yep.
Okay.
I think from the turn order. There you go.
Yep.
Okay. Reginald.
Yep. I think what he's gonna do now that he has all of his companions around him is he's gonna kind of like move over into this little like I don't know rubble pit of this entryway into this hut, and he's gonna fire a yeah, I guess fire a firebolt at this pushed guy in front of Lionel.
Roll with advantage.
Oh, will it let me roll advantage? Yeah, here it goes. 10, which I'm gonna guess probably does not land.
Will you please roll a d20 just flat?
Sure.
Never mind. You win.
Okay.
Swinging for the fences tonight. So being surrounded by your friends, seeing, well, I don't know that you would call them friends, but your
Not yet.
temporary comrades, sort of bolsters you a little bit. Everybody seems to be converging on you. You are the threat. You are, for I mean, all intents and purposes, the lead. Everybody seems to be deferring to you. You should be proud. You should be. You should be.
I am.
And you sort of like get this bolster in your resolve. And as you go to cast, would you please re-roll your attempt to hit with advantage again?
Hit die, roll, public, advantage. 13.
Damn, just barely, bud. Uh, so, you, even with your bolstered morale, I'll call it, you manage to steady your aim and fire off, and the spell goes off and connects with this orc, and you can tell that he is now in a lot of pain.
Got him. And burned his nethers. Never a good time.
Does that complete your turn?
That does.
Oh, goody. Orc number 3. Oh boy, let's see if we can get out of this fear. Mm, Uh, Lionel, would you please roll me an intimidation check again?
Yes, sir. You got it.
Nope, still afraid. However, he manages to bolster himself a little bit, though he is clearly not in the right state of mind to be fighting, which is weird for an orc. But he's going to take a swing at you regardless.
Okay.
A 19 and a 3 plus 5. So with this advantage, we are going to miss. He takes a swing at you, and I mean he's where he needs to be technically, but your form allows you that extra movement a little bit, and you're able to sense the swing coming, and even your bestial side of you is kind of like it knows what's coming. It can sense the blow and just so easily moves out of the way. Graceful for a hyena.
Mm-hmm.
But I suppose that means that it is your turn to return fire.
Okay. I am going to use my action to attack him with my hammer once again. Uh, 10 to hit.
No.
All right. And then, as a bonus action, since I am now shifted, I am going to bite at him with my fangs that I have grown in my long tooth form.
Bye bye.
Ah, damn, shame. 7 to hit.
Negative. So, in rapid succession, you swing and go to take this bite, and the orc's armor, because the orc's not really moving to dodge these blows, but the hide armor seems to just absorb the blows to no damage to its wearer. Does that complete your turn?
That does. I am not moving.
Orc number 2. Well, you hear the footsteps behind you and the gasp as this orc sees its fallen companion. And you hear it roar as it comes to swing down on you with a great
Mhm.
axe. With a 20 to hit.
Oh, yeah, that hits.
Of course. Rolled good on the one dice, I have to roll a 1 on the other one. So you feel a very almost piddly little blow worth 3 damage come across your back. And this
Same.
creature, orc, growling behind the blow that had no momentum. And that brings us full cycle back to Thorn.
Thorn is going to kind of shake off her little bit of alarm at this sudden were-skunk in front of her. And she's going to quickly move in front of Reginald and then move here to flank this guy with Lionel. And I will do Booming Blade Stab. Oh, that advantage is good. So 9 damage.
What happens to a creature that dies from your booming blade?
I think that Thorn knows where to go for vitals in like humanoid creatures. And I think that because she's so small and this orc is so large, she stabs upwards into, I don't know, his
Kidneys?
Yeah, his kidneys, basically. Like, he's focused on Lionel, so she's behind him. So I imagine she just, like, stabs upwards and goes for his kidneys and gets, like, a direct hit. And the magic from the booming blade fizzles. And instead of enshrouding him and waiting, it tears and rips as part of the attack.
Rip and tear until it's done.
Rip and tear!
As this thing is as this orc is dying, he sort of looks up into the sky and goes, "Telos, take me!" Just blood and guts everywhere. You managed to get some on the top of the cavern, 80 feet up.
God damn!
Thorn pauses for a moment to wonder what orc tastes like.
Lionel
Now
could have
she
told you if he
has-
hit.
Now's your chance.
I couldn't lick the spicy water, so I could lick the
A
orcs.
fat hunk of orc thigh lands at your feet. Is that your turn, though? She's dying. Hold on.
BRB dying.
Thorn kebabs it with her rapier and puts it all the way down to the bottom to save it for later.
That's
So it's just resting on the hilt. But that will end my turn.
Maybe we need to get you some of those like skewers for campfires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh my god.
So you don't have to use your sword. I'm just thinking.
Just thinking
It's
ahead for sanitation purposes.
It's a multi-purpose tool, guys. Okay, just like
Did
my
you
shield.
clean it?
Loaded.
Did you clean
Yeah.
it from the spicy water, though?
Of course not.
Probably not.
Nope.
That makes
It's
it
got seasoning
seasoned.
now.
It's disgusting.
You've seasoned your cast iron rapier.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's not cast iron. It's a plant.
Yep. It just eat it.
Well, yes, that is my turn.
All right.
Reginald, you just witnessed something maybe a little bit terrifying. This tiny little kobold literally blew apart an orc that was double, maybe triple her size.
And now has claimed a piece of it to eat later. So Reginald is going to. He's gonna kind of distance himself from the gore a little bit,
There's no getting away from it. It's everywhere.
and then he's gonna utilize his crossbow and fire a bolt at the one behind Lionel. Hell yeah.
Nice.
You are a fucking paper tiger.
Wizards, man. What can you do?
Rip and tear. I just have it
Trying to
there
keep
in the
track
back.
of HP pools.
Yeah, no, it's all. I just have the
worries.
the song in the background from the YouTube, just ready to unpause whenever I need a little quick burst of heavy bass and metal music.
So you fire your crossbow and the bolt just flies really well for some reason. And like better than most bolts fly. Lionel, you hear it whiz and thud into the orc behind you, and that orc takes it to the chest, and it like grunts as its hand comes up to grab the shaft and try to pull it out, but it just can't muster it. But does that complete your turn?
That does. That is the end of Reginald's turn.
Oh, goody. You're dead. Lionel.
Well, if I hit, maybe. I will attack with my hammer first. 20 to hit.
I had to make sure that wasn't like an actual crit.
No, it was a dirty 20.
Okay.
He takes 2 points of damage,
Yep.
and then I will use my bonus action once again to make a bite with my jaws and fangs. 13 to hit.
So you smack this one with the hammer, and you sort of break the shaft of the bolt as
Mhm.
you're doing it, and push it a little bit deeper, and then you
That was
go
the
to
plan.
bite, but since it doesn't have a bolt or a shaft to grab anymore. With that hand, it goes to shove you away and block your face, so you just manage to gnaw on its wrist for minimal damage.
Mhm. I think uh I think after I do successfully get a bite, I think with the taste of blood now in my mouth, I think Lionel's animalistic side comes out a little bit more and he just says, "The constant left devoured."
Jesus.
And there's very much a glint in his eye that there's a little bit of cruelty and animalistic feralness in him now.
Are we sure this isn't like a morality campaign? Like, there are 2 people in the party that eat people now.
I'm just now learning this.
Maybe 3.
Lionel doesn't eat
Reginald?
people.
No.
This is part of stuff. Don't worry.
I was gonna have you roll another intimidation check, but I rolled a nat 20.
It's fine.
So
Don't worry
you're-
about it.
this one glares at you defiantly, despite its grievous injuries. Does that complete your turn?
Yes, it does, sir.
All right. Well, this one defiantly readies its axe for another mighty swing. Ooh.
Mhm.
Fuck you. How much HP do you have?
Yeah, he's double checking if
Uh,
he didn't just kill you.
Right now, I have 14 in total because I still have 1 temporary HP.
Oh, fucking thank God. You have 1 HP left.
You rolled max damage. Goddamn.
No, I didn't.
We're level
You
1.
rolled close.
Okay, you have to tailor the monsters to babies.
It's,
No.
We're
hey,
babies.
We're
is
big.
baby.
We're big kids. Okay, we're big
We're
kids.
no,
That-
Thorn is
that
a
is just
baby.
that is just how much damage orcs do if they hit with their weapons. They probably have like close to max strength.
They have 16 strength, so
Yeah,
they
that's about
have a
right.
+3 to their damage.
Yeah, and they probably have like a great sword or a great axe, so they get like a 2d6 on hit.
1d12.
Yep, there we go.
So this one, it you take a knee with this hit. Its swing hits you squarely on the shoulder, right where neck and shoulder meet, just fucking over the head, chop down, and you kind of, to avoid it actually bringing you to death, you sort of take a knee to roll with the
Yeah.
blow as much as you can. And this one sneers down at you as it kind of, like, you could tell it's in its death throes, but it's still swinging, and it just rips the blade out of you while saying, "Talos sends its regards."
I think when Lionel is taking that knee to avoid the damage, he's kind of looking up at this orc now with their roles reversed, and he is just smiling a little bit, thinking, "Just my luck."
For you, it really is.
Yep.
But here we are for hopefully the last time.
Let's hope so. Thorn will quickly zip down here and kind of like repeat the same motions that she made before, but this time with like a chunk of orc on her sword instead.
Well, how does our smallest friend kill her second orc?
I think it's in the same way, but I go for like the other kidney. And it is another booming blade, so like the style of attack is the same, where the magic fizzles because it hits 0 HP, but it like rips and tears the skin.
Your blade pierces where you imagine this thing's kidney to be, and reminiscent of when you shotgun blasted that ochre, you sort of tear the right half of this thing's torso, and it just explodes forth in gore and covering Lionel in the blood of his enemy, and probably a good 10 feet behind him. And this orc, as it's falling, I mean, it's dead before it hits its ground. But you see one of its hands just reach up to grasp the holy symbol, or maybe it's a memento of something around its neck as it buries its face in the dirt.
Rip and tear.
Yeah, really. Well, congratulations again on your, what is this, your fourth or fifth victory?
Thorn lets out another war cry. She like holds her rapier and her shield above her head and just kind of is like, ah!
So I need a roll from the party. Who would like to be the party roller?
Let's let John do it. He's rolled good tonight.
You want me to do
He
it?
can do it tonight.
John,
Okey-doke.
would you please roll me a d20?
D20. There you go. 8.
Roll a 7. So angry. Thorn, because you're closest, you hear a groan from behind you. And you remember that Norbus is out there, currently lying in a pool of his own blood.
I will quickly run over to this fellow.
He needs attention now.
I will lay on hands for 1 HP to stabilize him.
He's mumbling almost incoherently with a huge gash along his neck from where the orc that had abandoned him left him to die. He mumbles something about Dazzlin, getting back to Dazzlin. That seems to be his only concern right now.
Does he seem stable, like, with that healing? Like, if I try to take him to Dazzlin, is he gonna bleed out?
The bleeding has stopped.
Okay. Thorn will take whatever little, like, bits of cloth that are on him, like his clothes or like a piece of his cloak or something, and just kind of, like, wrap it around the wound enough to, like, soak up some of the blood. And she doesn't think that she's strong enough to pull this dwarf, so she will call for the others. Small man needs help. Help Thorn.
I think Lionel is just pitched up against the wall that he is on and just slides down it in a mixture of his own blood from having taken a massive hit and the orc's blood that has sprayed him just going down the backside of this wall. And he just looks to Reginald and goes, "Minutes."
Oh yeah, Skunk Man needs help too.
Can we just take a minute and appreciate? Have you guys ever played Fallout? You guys know the Bloody Mess perk?
Yeah. That's what I look and feel like.
All right. Well, I suppose Reginald will kind of make his way past Lionel around to go and help out Thorn, but he will pointedly keep his distance as he passes by the gourd transformed thing next to him. Kind of like. So
this is
yeah,
why
he
Lionel
will,
doesn't like shifting.
yeah, he will make his way through and try to see if he can render some assistance, which apparently is going to be trying to drag a dwarf a certain amount of distance.
I think Thorn iterates that she just wants to drag him inside, like enough to get some cover, and then she will go and try to find Dazzlin.
Okay, Reginald will do his best to drag this body, but he's kind of being a little wuss about it right now because he's like, "Oh, my arm hurts. I can't hold my arm and drag a body at the same time. What do I do with my hands?" But he will kind of begrudgingly drag the dwarf a little bit.
There's actually no need, as you are bitching and moaning, so to speak.
Fair enough.
Oh, I can't do it to my arms.
Dazzlin, having heard the commotion from the orcs yelling at you all and the few fireballs and the whooshing of air and the thundering blades, has made his way out and has made his way to you. Norbis, you're all right. And he very gruffly, ungently throws Norbis over his shoulder. And as he does so, the sending stone that Norbis carries slips out of his pouch and lands at your feet, Reginald. Dazzlin pays no heed and he says, "We're gonna rest here and we'll be back to Fandalen soon. Thank you for your warning, and thank you for fending off these orcs. Must have been driven from the mountain."
Yes. Yes. You dropped your stone, I believe.
That's our stone. Fuck that.
Dazzlin scoops it up off the ground and actually proffers it to you and says, "A deal was a deal, so Here is your set of sending stones. May they be of more use to you than they were to us.
Well, this. Thank you indeed. Yes, we'll put them to use.
Your friend looks like he needs help. He's covered in blood.
He also looks really weird.
Yes, I had the misfortune of passing him in the entryway, and yes, he does need some help.
I was gonna say, I think when Dazzling goes by, Lionel is in mid-shift returning back to normal because it only lasts for about a minute. So he kind of sees him like losing part of those hyena and canid features and slowly going back to what he normally looks like. You know, still beat to fucking shit and covered in blood, but human.
You have a scar-worthy gash running from the base of your neck and shoulder down your chest.
Yep,
Yes,
still looks like
you
shit.
are fucked, dude.
Thorn makes a little bit of an alarmed noise, remembering that her friend got hit pretty bad, and runs inside to go lay on hands him for 2 HP. Thorn is helping.
He's definitely fully like in human form now, so he looks as he would. Thank you. I got it from here though, and I will cast Cure Light Wounds on myself as well.
I think
Or Cure Wounds.
I think as he's like propped up against the wall and like Thorn is doing like lay on hands on his shoulder or whatever, I think he kind of hears in his ear, and I'm sorry if this is loud, I don't normally get this close to my mic, but he kind of hears very quietly the little snuffling, and it's just like just in his ear.
Not dead yet. Can't taste. And I just look at her like still in obvious pain, but smile.
I run.
Shit, he knew! I think after that, and I use Cure Wounds on myself, I then get up and start to make my way outside. Not bothering to like use prestidigitation or anything to clear myself off the blood just yet. So I still look like a fucking mess. And I'm just making my way out. Still obviously in some pain and just ready to be done with the adventure for today.
Well, it would seem that you are in fact done here.
Thorn wants to rest.
You are free to rest at the excavation site, or you are free to rest on the road and make camp out there.
I would prefer if we made camp there. As much as we made money off this place, fuck this place.
Thorn agrees. Thorn thinks we should go back to Vandalen. Thorn thinks we need supplies and rest. Thorn will go find things, and like as we're on the road or whatever, as part of my, as part of my background, I can find food and fresh water for myself and up to 5 people. So I think Thorn goes out and she catches some small game for us, like while Reginald and Lionel are setting up camp, and she brings back some water to like clean themselves up with, and tries to make things a little bit easier.
Well, it sounds like you all are choosing to make camp for the night then.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think once we finally make camp and get everything set up, Lionel will take the water with gratitude and slowly begin to clean himself off, making sure to do the best that he can and using prestidigitation as well to help remove all of the bloodstains that he can out of his clothing, especially the bloodstains that are not his.
You're gonna need a tailor, dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like there's a certain level of what prestidigitation can do, and you're beyond that a little bit.
This was
but-
my only coat, you asshole!
Your
He
clothes
says
need
to no one in
mending.
particular. I don't have mending yet. Or wait a minute, do I? I might. Hang on. I need to look at it. I might. Where are my features? No, I don't have it yet. Fuck, I didn't get it. Okay, never mind. This is my only coat, you asshole! It was already torn to shreds. He says to no one in particular as he just looks at it in pain.
Yeah, the front of it is from where the axe had very cleanly cut into you. Been a little bit shredded.
At least the craftsmanship on the axe was good. Still, fuck you!
What a thing to think about.
Those dwarves are making out like bandits from your kills. Jesus.
I think once everyone's kind of like settled down, Thorn goes about roasting her chunk of orc flesh on the fire. She takes a little nibble of it while it's raw, and then just kind of like, and just just hangs out there and sticks her chunk of orc flesh on a stick and roasts like a marshmallow.
I hope it tastes better cooked than it does raw.
She shrugs. She gives like a meh. She's like chomping on it. Are you both shaking your head at me?
You're
I
actually
think you
eating.
know why.
Get it?
I think you know why. Reginald at camp is essentially just going to be kind of jotting down in his diary notebook like he normally does and just kind of fill in things like one of them changes into a thing and the other one is currently eating orc. I am fearing for my life.
I think Thorn would see him writing, and she kind of like meanders over a little bit, and she like points at the notebook. You should write. It's very bland. Kind of tough. Not a lot of fat.
What makes you think that I'm writing about you?
Thorn is amazing. Thorn is the greatest lizard folk to ever live. And she strikes her little pose that she did when she announced the first time that she was a lizard folk. It's just a little superhero stance.
Well, very well. I will make a note of it, that Thorn is the greatest of lizard folk. And, yes, you'll be noted.
I think she kind of like leans on his arm kind of heavily and like looking over his shoulder at the notebook, and she like taps it with her finger, and you should write that Thorn killed 2 of them.
Yes, very well. I will make sure that your accolades are well noted.
Okay. She just takes her shish kebab and goes off elsewhere.
He will put in the notebook. Thorn is the greatest of lizard folk. killed 2 orcs.
I can
Perfect.
tell for a moment that Reginald had the very significant thought of, do I want to have this argument right now about kobold versus lizard folk?
And just gave in.
Well, the evening draws to a conclusion, and you all can hit that long rest button.
Oh, thank God.
All my spells are gone. Everything.
Yep, same.
What are spells?
You'll know about them soon enough. Trust me. Just take some time.
So, as dawn arises, and well, I've made it through the night relatively unscathed. How would you like to proceed back to Fandalin? Across the fields or along the road?
The fields are pretty flat, you said, yeah?
Yep, it's about 15 miles straight shot from where you're at there.
Can probably take the fields this time. Might save us a little bit of extra time, and it'll give us a better understanding of all the terrain here versus just on the roads. Since we're going back, we're not in as big of a rush per se, it feels like.
Thorn has no opinion. I think Thorn gave her opinion the first time and said that the road was boring, but
What do you say, Reginald? Do we go through the fields this time?
Well, I suppose I'm not partial to it, but it would be faster. And right now I think that speed is probably more on my mind than comfort.
Good. I need to get the taste of orc out of my mouth still. Oh.
Well, I mean, Thorn appears to have thought passably of it.
you hear a loud smacking of lips. Just
Lionel just... I think Lionel just looks back and goes... Mm-mm. Just shakes his head. Is like, no. I think he's thinking in his head, no, no, no. Don't want to eat. No. Taste was bad enough.
Well, you guys begin your travels, and Leyland, I'm sorry, not Leyland, Fandalin makes its way into view, but so does something else.
Oh no.
As you were traveling, there's a faint smoke trail and the smell of burning that assaults your nostrils. It's very weak at first, but as you travel closer to Fandalin, you realize that the source of it seems to be some bits of wood that are on fire.
Oh.
There's deep cut uh, wagon ruts along the grassy plains leading in a near easterly direction, and not too far away you can see the remains of a wagon, parts of it still on fire.
I think seeing this, Lionel will go and check to see if there are any survivors or if there's anyone there. Because seeing fire, he understands what that does to a person, and I think he feels no one deserves to go that way if he can help it.
What are you, the other two of you, doing? Are you following him or?
yeah, Thorn follows.
Reginald?
Reginald will kind of reluctantly follow along, but will keep his distance. He's kind of like, well, I'm not really one to invite myself into danger, but if you guys go ahead, I'll observe.
Well, um, as you come up on this wagon, uh, there is a banner on the side of it, little metal post that has a flag hanging off of it, and on the flag is a crest. The crest contains two bestial dogs supporting a shield and bearing a double-bladed axe crossed with a halberd and a sword. Reginald, you immediately recognize this sigil. If either of the other two of you would like to attempt to recognize it, you can roll me a history check. But as you advance on the wagon, you notice that its driver is leaned back in the driver's seat of the wagon. Three orcish arrows protrude from his chest, blood pooling around the coat of arms, the same coat of arms, embroidered onto his tunic. The proud Shire horses, a white and a black one, both have their throats slit in the horses that were pulling the wagon and lay in pools of their own blood. The back of the wagon contains nothing but a broken chest. Its contents completely gone.
And the man is obviously unresponsive and has long since passed, I take it, yeah.
The man is dead. Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure. I did get a 20 on my history to identify the coat of arms, so just bring that up whenever. I think I will just check, like, the wheels are also broken on this thing, so like half the cart is kind of on two wheels and then the other half is on the ground, correct? If I'm understanding?
The wagon itself is intact,
Okay.
save for a few missing and broken boards from the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell it was roughly handled when whatever happened to it happened.
I think I will just do a quick check underneath it to make sure there's like no one hiding underneath it, and also give a couple of its floorboards a good like tap with my hammer to make sure there's like no hidden compartments in here that could hide someone or something.
It is not a wagon that could hide anything.
Okay.
But to first answer your history check before I have you roll a perception check,
Mm-hmm.
this is the Fortno coat of arms.
Oh.
You recognize this as a traveling wagon. They're usually used as tax collectors, so you can imagine that the chest was probably filled with a small amount of gold.
Yeah.
But would you please roll me a perception check?
Yes, sir. Nope. That's a 1. But it's not a fail, because I got 2 on the dice.
Is this for like looking around the thing?
Yes.
The cart, yeah.
Can I give him the help action since Thorn is with him?
Just roll yourself.
Okay.
You'll do better.
Do
Trust me.
do something to beat a 1, please.
What
You'll
am
do
I
better.
rolling? Perception?
Perception.
Trust me, you'll just do better on your own. Don't help me with these. There you go. See?
Ah.
Much better. Fabulous.
Thorn
10
is
out of
like
10.
Thorn is like up in it, and she's just like sniffing around, lifting shit up.
Thorn recognizes the scent of dog. There is a very young pup, old enough to walk and hide on its own, but not quite the size of a mastiff yet, hiding in the grass underneath of the carriage.
Thorn will pick it up gently and kind of like give it a good sniff like, and then looks over at Lionel. Thorn found dog.
How the hell did you know what? Never mind.
Small dog.
When it's like almost like what, half the size of her.
Yeah.
Small dog. Mm. Yes, small dog. Is that the only thing that you saw? I didn't see any other living creature.
She kind of just stares at you. Thorn found dog.
Okay. I will go over and take the dog from her.
No. Thorn's
Okay.
dog.
Okay. Your dog, Thorn. Your dog.
Reginald's gonna walk over to the cart now that he realizes that they're just flustering around with the dog that they found and kind of inspect things.
Anything that was worth of value is gone. If you inspect the body, you don't find much on it. A single gold coin that got missed. A sack full of letters that are now soaked in blood and beyond reading. And that's about it.
I wouldn't recognize the guy as anyone of note that would have worked for my family. I'm assuming.
Roll me. What's a good memory check? What the hell do you roll for memory? Would that still be history?
History, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, history, insight.
Or wisdom or intelligence. Whichever one of those two is
Yeah.
supposed to be specific for recall. I think it's intelligence.
Well,
An intelligence check comes into play when you need to draw on logic, education, memory, or deductive reasoning.
that sounds good to me. Roll an intelligence check.
Intelligence.
You recognize this as one of the Lord's retainers for your house. The Fort No Name being pretty large, there are several chapters of it. One of them in Neverwinter, and you know that a smaller chapter is being made in Leyland, just to assist with the efforts in keeping back the Mirror of Dead Men. And its founder has a retainer that you knew very briefly before they left Neverwinter to go serve that lord. This is that retainer. You know him only as Max.
Anyone you know, Reginald?
Well, I only really met him maybe a few times at best, but I believe this particular man, under the employ of my family, was stationed here to the south in the town of Leyland. But what he's doing this far off the trail from Fandalen, I'm a little puzzled, to be sure. But clearly, his money, assumedly the collected taxes, have been taken, and anything else on his person. But I definitely need to get this situation relayed to my family for them to work it out.
I do want to take a quick look around and investigate like the surrounding area. Does it look like the wagon was actually heading in this direction, or that it was kind of like forced to go here, if you will?
Judging at how far you are away from both Fandalen and the main road, it was clearly running away from something.
Well, he was definitely running from something, more than likely. A group or person that probably mangled the chest in there to high hell and back. What would he have been transporting, do you know?
Well, more than likely, it would have been letters, missives, and a fair portion of money, likely collected from the townspeople and various other settlements along the road in a means to pool their resources for holding the family name and the defenses in the area.
Additionally,
Mm-hmm.
because you're looking around and it's fairly easy to spot in the tall grass, you notice that this thing was obviously driving erratically, um, but there were other lines which you've seen this before in the tall grass, signifying something was trailing after it, probably horses or another similar mount.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one nearby that's pretty obvious now that you're looking for it. That was much thinner. The grass was very, you know, it was man sized. It looked like somebody may have tried to run off.
Noticing that, I will get on that path and follow it for a little bit and see if it continues to like kind of go on and on, or if it comes to a stop with like a body at the end of it or something.
It comes to a stop at a rough. I don't want to call it. It's an area where the grass has been compressed. Like a tussle happened here. Like people were laying down, wrestling each other. So
And so there were definitely signs of a struggle, but I don't see a body anywhere in here, correct?
correct.
Got signs of a struggle over here. Don't see where it went off to, though. No body either, so both parties, I guess, are still alive?
Dog was driving.
I don't think the dog was driving. Unless, Reginald, you trained your dog to drive?
No, 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 no. We don't do anything of that sort. That's simply ridiculous. But if I had to guess at the lay of the situation here, potentially, someone obviously had killed the driver, looted the earnings, and was in the process of making away. And there may have been another individual in the wagon that potentially chased after them and attempted to stop them. And well, if they're gone now, I have to assume that both parties simply continue the chase. We just are unable to see the path, so to speak.
Yeah. Just weird, but without a path, we can't do anything. Do you want to do anything for your family's employee? Or do you need to, besides alert the appropriate heads?
Well, no, I believe I only really need to alert someone. I'm sure that any particular services that need to be rendered would be done.
We're not far from Van Dalen, right? Like, it's not far.
It's about 10 miles.
Yeah. Thorn looks at the both of them and is just like, not far from town. Won't take long. People will be here quick. Implying that when we get there and tell them, like, it won't take long for someone to come out and take care of the body.
Yeah, no. I was more asking if Reginald had anything he needed, or he needed or wanted to do.
Nothing that he's willing or
Willing.
aware of
Yeah.
doing.
I think Lionel will stand up from where he was kind of like squatting down and just be like, all right, let's go back to town then. We gotta tell someone about this mess. At least I don't have to clean it up this time.
Yes, indeed.
Come, dog meat. And we go.
Dog
Dog
meat.
meat.
Dog meat.
This thing's gonna serve as your
Is that
mouth,
copyrighted?
isn't
Can we say that on Twitch?
I don't know.
Meat dog.
it?
Meat dog.
Well, the dog proves to be well trained and even at such a young age, capable of keeping pace with you all, no problem. Proof of its good stock and excellent nature. But Fandalin comes into view quickly, and we'll say that you have arrived back in Fandalin.
All right. I'll go and find the person we need to report to for the excavation team and tell them that we gave them their warning and they're heading back. You guys should probably, well, you need to figure out what the hell you need to do, Reginald, about your family's now lost delivery of taxes and money. Thorn,
Yes,
do you want
I will have to find a courier and probably the headsman, and yes, I'll see to that.
Thorn, you want to go inform the proper people about the body 10 miles back?
Thorn looks at you and then looks at, like, the town. Thorn doesn't think that's a good idea. Do you really want to leave Thorn alone in town? You're responsible for Thorn now.
I look down at
The guy
Thorn.
said so.
I look back to Reginald. Technically, I, Lionel, am not responsible for you. That man is, and I am simply asking you to go find the proper authorities. And since it's no longer my problem, toodles! And I go up and go to talk to the person I need to so that we can get paid. As she is technically not my responsibility. She is Reginald's.
Thorn shimmies over to Reginald, just kind of like sidestepping a little bit, and Meat Dog's, following after her, and she just like step, and then like just reaches up slowly and holds his hand.
She is not my problem today. She is your problem. I'll take her
Reginald
next
is-
time.
Reginald is just gonna kind of like and sigh, be like, well, I guess let's go see about a courier first.
Okay.
And he'll proceed forward with his newfound child of sorts.
Lionel, responsibility, sidestep.
Getting some looks, Reggie.
Yes, I can imagine.
All right. I'm gonna cover Lionel's portion first, if that's okay.
Mhm.
So Lionel, you already know where the town hall is and where the board is, so to speak, and who you need to talk to. So you make your way over to the town hall, and you know that Mr. Harbin Wester is inside there somewhere.
I will head into town hall directly, see if I can easily spot him. If not, I will flag down someone or get someone's attention to ask them where Mr. Arbor Weston is.
As you enter the town hall, and it's a big building, but still pretty small compared to what you're used to back in Neverwinter.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually 3 gnomes in front of you. and they're demanding to speak to the town master. There's a short, plump man trying to deal with them, saying that Mr. Harbin doesn't deal with his patrons in person. If you need it, if you need something, you should check the board. The gnomes are not having this kind of answer. Nomengard demands help. You, Fandalen, are part of our alliance. You must send help. Where is Harbin Wester? Go get him now. The other two dwarves, and they're standing in a triangle formation, sort of like pat their feet and cross their arms, like signifying we ain't moving. And this plump bald man is like at a loss. He like doesn't know what to do. 'Cause-
You should probably go get the town master, considering they are getting very annoyed. And do I know anything about this alliance with what did they say it was?
Nomengard.
Nomengard and Fandalen at all?
Roll me a history check. You know that Nomengard, Fandalen, Leyland, and the town of Tribor have a loose knit alliance in times of need and in times of adversity. They can attempt to call on one another. It doesn't always mean that they'll get aid, but
Right.
they try to keep each other informed of danger.
Good sir, you really should call on Westminster. I mean, if Nomengard has sent 3 representatives to come down and see you guys and ask for help, he should at least hear them out in person. Be the same thing if another. And Lionel, for a moment, really hesitates to say this word and almost stutters over it. It'd be like if another guild of blacksmiths came to a forge that I worked at and asked for help because they needed iron to make ends meet for something. I might not be able to actually do anything, but I would at least hear them out. You gotta make sure you keep your friends close and you at least listen to them when they're telling you something.
Having reached his wits' end, with now you and the gnomes attempting to get to the town master, this plump, balding individual throws his hands up and says, "Fine, you go see him." And he,
Okay, where is he?
steps out of the way of the door that leads into what would be, you assume, Arvin Wester's room.
Okay. If they allow me in front of me, I will go ahead and step ahead of the gnomes from Nomengard and go towards the door and open it up and kind of usher them in.
Oh, it's locked.
I will bang on the door and just say, Westminster, you have visitors. And also, someone come to collect their dues for a job you posted.
Dues? I don't owe any dues.
You do since I informed the excavation team to get their asses back here. It's done.
A slat on the door opens up to reveal a bright blue eye. And another flap a little bit below that opens up, and a pouch gets shoved through it. There you go, you've been paid. Goodbye.
Can I stop the latch with the eye on it by chance if he looks like he's gonna shut it immediately or try to?
Sure, go ahead and try. Roll a 20.
Okay. Let's
This
see
is
if I
this
can
is
do
how
this.
we lose fingers.
Yes, this is 18.
I rolled a 16.
Ah!
You jam
Don't
your
lose me.
finger in there and manage to actually get 2 or 3 and just shove your damn near your whole hand in there to get your knuckles in there, your knuckle deep.
Knuckle deep.
You see the eye jerk back and he says, excuse you.
Listen, you got 3 representatives from Nomengard out here. The least you can do is listen to them before they possibly promptly blow the shit out of this place. You know how they get.
Yes, I've heard everything that they want to say. They just won't go away. I've already posted the quest on the board. If you're interested in helping the gnomes, then go check there.
Ow.
But if you don't take your fingers out of my door, you will find that they have been removed.
With that threat, I will very quickly and succinctly remove my fingers from there. I will then look to the gnomes and just kind of jerk my thumb and be like, is what all he said true, that he's actually already posted it on the board?
One in front, the lead one says, we haven't ever seen him leave his room, so it's really hard for us to tell, I guess.
Do I know his secretary's name by chance? Because that's what this person is.
The plump fat one?
Yes.
Is that who you were talking to?
No.
You were talking to the gnomes?
I'm talking to the DM as you. Do I know the name of the secretary? Just so that I can confirm if it was actually posted or not.
Yes, I understand that, but my answer relies on who you were talking to previous to your question. Were you asking the gnomes, or were you asking...
Yeah, I was asking the gnomes originally. Do they
Okay.
know if it's been posted? Yes. Sorry.
No, you don't know the plump fat man's name.
Okay. Excuse me, you. Yes, you, the one who was telling us not to bother him. Did he actually post it / you?
Yes, there's something on the board about Nomengard already.
Thank you. And I'll kind of look down to the gnomes and just say, look, Westminster is kind of a pain in the ass, as you can see, and I'll kind of like jingle my bag of coins as kind of proof that he's going to be a pain in the ass no matter what. What's actually your problem?
Oh, there's so much to tell.
Well, I have a couple of associates that maybe we can help, depending on what pay is and what the problem actually is, and if it's in our wheelhouse of expertise.
One of our 2 kings has gone crazy, and we came here to ask for help in exchange for some metal and artifacts.
Oh, the wrong thing to say to Lionel.
Yes. Immediately, Lyle's like, I think we can help. Let's go and find my associates.
They nod anxiously and follow you.
And I will go and I will head back to the tavern that we are staying at to meet up with Reginald and Thorn when they get back. And while we are walking along the way, I will just chat with them and ask them about all of like their inventions and what their forges are like in Nomengard for small talk, but also because Lionel is very interested in that.
I'm sure you are. Reginald and Thorn, you all make your way to the courier station to send off a letter.
Yep. The details of which in Reginald's letter, essentially, he writes 2. He sends one to his father, which basically more or less states, like, dear father, found this cart of one of your retainers. I believe his name was Max, potentially from Leyland. He'd come under siege, ran off the road, is now dead. All of his possessions appear to have been taken. Missives that he had on him are illegible and cannot be read or returned. I've also dispatched another letter down to Leyland, to the office that we have stationed there, to alert them to this in the event that he was out on collections, returning home.
Very well. Do you have any other pit stops you would like to make?
Just the one to basically find, somebody to go get the body, more or less. Let them know that it's there, and I'll pay them for the service to basically go retrieve it. A little forward of money. Then my only other pit stop will be to stop off and eat something from like a food vendor stall in the roads or something in town.
Very well. Pretty easy to do. All things are taken care of. So I take it you all will be reconvening in Stonehill.
Mhm.
Correct.
Excellent. Then for this session, I'm going to call it there.
Okie
We'll get
dokie.
the details of your next adventure next week, and maybe a little bit more.
Woo!
Uh, thank you for anyone watching, and hope you all have a good night.
Good night.
Koval, don't go anywhere.